Hi there, it's Marlene. In this video, I'm going to show you some quick edits using Luminar AI and wildlife photos. If you've watched my other videos, you know that I recently got a new Lumix 100 to 300mm lens for my Lumix G9. So I've been out and about searching for animals, birds, wildlife, whatever I can find. Okay, I'm using Luminar AI version 1.0.1, build number 8548. And I'm using it on an iMac. So let's start with this iconic Canadian bird, the Canada goose, the bird we all love to hate. Let's go into the templates. And when you pop up Luminar AI, the software chooses a few templates that it thinks would work with your image. So we have Savannah Collection and Animal Friends. What else have we got? Anything more? And objects. Choose Animal Friends for this. And we can just click once on each of the templates to get a quick view of the changes that it would make to the image. But I like natural. Let's see a before and after. You just click this eyeball in the top right corner, the preview, and it definitely adds some snap, makes the water nice and blue. And yeah, that looks like a good edit. If you want to see what edits were made and what tools were used, click the Edit tab up here and you'll see that there is a dot beside each of the tools that was used to produce this edit. And there's only dots in the top section: Detail, Structure, Light, and Enhance. You can go into each of these tools if you feel that they're too strong or not strong enough, and you can edit using the sliders in each tool. Very simple to use, and that's what most of Luminar AI is all about, sliders. One thing I do want to do is check my histogram and to see if I have any blown out highlights or shadows that are too dark. So I go under View, Show Histogram, and you can see that there are triangles in the top corners of the histogram. What you want to do is click those triangles to make sure they're on, and that will give you warnings: highlight and shadow clipping, and clipping basically means losing detail, warnings. Now I don't know if you noticed, but when I popped the highlight clipping warning on, I got an area of red in this area. So that is blown out highlights. Now there's not much here, but I want to show you what will happen to your histogram when you mess around with the exposure. So let's go into the light tool and let's take our exposure slider and pull it to the right. And you can see that we have ever increasing areas that are red, and those are blown out highlights, highlights that have lost detail. Now right now I'm looking at all channels, all colors together. You can individually look to see if, say, maybe just the blue is blown out or something like that. But I'm just going to keep it simple for now. When we pull our exposure to the left or underexpose, you're going to see that areas of blue show up. And you can see that the histogram as well is now leaning to the left. So it's all the way pushed to the left, and anything that's blue here is underexposed. And that's basically how you use the histogram. And I like to check my histogram on all my images. Now, let's say that we want to bring the exposure up on this image just a bit if we feel it's a bit too dark, but we want to save these whites down here. So to save the whites, you can go into highlights or whites. So I'm going to choose highlights because these are highlights. I'm just going to pull that slider down a bit. And now I have retained the detail in this area. I still have a few sparklies in this part of the bird's feathers, but I'm not going to worry too much about those. Okay, let's do before and after. Before, now the before looks rather dull, and now it has a bit more punch. And I think I'm just going to leave that image as is. If I wanted, I could go and export to file. When you export, you choose your sharpening and how big you want it, the color space if it's going to the web or to a photo lab. Typically sRGB is what you want. Choose your format and choose your quality. And that's all there is to it. All right, let's go back to our catalog and choose another image to work on. Let's try this beaver. I found a beaver on my first walk with the lens, and I think that got me hooked on telephoto photography. Let's go to our templates, just like we did before. And for this photo, I think I'm going to go back to Animal Friends, cycle through the different combinations, and I'm just going to keep this quick and simple. I'm going to go back to natural. Let's go into the Edit, see which tools it used. I'm actually going to bring up my histogram again as well. And you can well imagine that this area of white could easily be overexposed, but it's not, lucky for me. I can easily do that though. I can go into light and hit exposure, and you will soon see that, believe it or not, the lower part of the image is more overexposed than the upper part. I'm not going to do too much with this, except to say, look at the difference that adding that template did to this image. I mean, it's crazy. Let me zoom in and show you some of the details on this beaver. You can even see the whiskers on this thing. It's incredible. It's quite a find. Basically, it came out of the water and ran and got some twigs and went back into its den under the ice. Okay, next up, let's work on these white-winged crossbills. I've got a couple of them. This is the male. This is just going to be quick. I'm going to jump right into natural. Now, this one definitely is too intense for me, so I'm going to go into Edit. And I'm going to look at the tools, and I'm going to definitely bring down the structure a bit. Let's go before and after. There we go. But huge difference. We'll leave that the way it is. Let's go back to our catalog. Let's choose the female crossbill. And you guessed it, I'm going to go with the same template, natural. I mean, in this one too, like, look at how dull her feathers were, even though I think she was quite colorful. And again, I can pull down some of the structure just to make it a little softer, but not too soft. Let me zoom in so you can see the detail. I mean, this lens is incredible. Like, look at the detail in those feathers. And here's the before and after. So you can see how the template and especially the structure and the Enhance AI really brought out, and the details, you can see I got details in there, really brought out the feather patterns and the feather colors. Very impressed. If you'd like to purchase Luminar AI, please use my affiliate link in the video description below, and I thank you very kindly for that. Also, I have a coupon code for you, which is ImageMaven, and that will give you at least $10 off the price of the software. Keep your eye out for specials which happen all year round on Luminar AI, and make sure you get it at the best possible price. Okay, let's pick an image that needs a little more work done to it. Now overall, this image does look a little underexposed. It looks a little on the gray side for me. And you can see that the head is very dark. But let's start with our template as per usual. And let's go into the edit, and let's go into structure. I think there's a bit too much structure. I want that background a bit softer. And we can also lower the large details if you wanted to. Well, let's change the light. Let's pop up our exposure a bit. Oh, and look at that. We're getting some overexposed highlights. So let's pull those back down. And that's a starting point. Before and after. It's okay. It's still not working for me. What I really want to bring out is the color in the bird's head. This is where local masking comes in. So let's choose local masking, add, basic. So what we're going to do here is change the area right here. So what I want to do first is I want to bring up the exposure. Now, just ignore the rest of the image. I'm just looking at the head of this duck. I'm going to change my brush size, and I can change that using the right and left bracket key, or I can use the sliders here. And then I'm just going to paint over top of the area that I want to change to a brighter exposure. Not bad. Now I notice, you see I got this white halo, so you can hit the eraser and it'll erase the mask. So you can like fine tune. I don't mind if the duck's head is a little dark on the edges, but I definitely don't want to see a white halo. That just means that I'm not good at editing. So let's do before and after. There, the head is very dark, and now it's brought up a bit. Now, I'm still in the mask right now, so I can even brighten it up more if I wanted. Just show you some extreme here so that you can see, like, yes, this is definitely a mask. And I'm going to use the vibrance slider too, just to bring out even more color. I'll lower the exposure a bit too bright now. Here, let's lower this. Still has to look realistic. It is nature after all. Before and after. So it's gone from black to blue and green. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's go back into the main edit tools, the main editing tools here. And I think I'm going to pull down my structure just a bit more. And I think I'll just leave it like that. So let's do a split screen here, before and after. And our duck is popping off the ice. Another thing I might do with this image is crop it. So you can click the C key, which brings you into the composition tool. If you click this purpley pinkish bar, it will do an AI crop for you. It will choose a crop. Let's see what that's like. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll use some of that crop, but I want to offset our little mallard in a different part of the frame to give him some place to go. When you're happy, just click the top bar. So before and after with crop. All right, let's edit this image of a chickadee into templates. And Luminar has chosen the nature grouping and animal friends, filmatic. So different templates than our previous image. But you know, I've looked at the others and I'm still gonna stick with animal collection. Let's cycle through them. Black and white one, park life, faded, soft fur, night creatures, and natural. I like park life because it's a bit warmer. And when you have an image with shallow depth of field, your images can get a bit dull looking, especially as this was kind of an overcast day. I was in the forest. And this adds a bit of punch to it. So let's go into the tools that were used here. And as usual, AI enhance light, structure, details. And in this case, it used Mood. Mood adds lookup tables, LUTs, LUTs, as a lot of people call them. And it has used the LUT called Park Life. Now I find it's a little too warm for me, so I can actually lower the amount a bit, or I can lower the saturation. You can preview the LUT by turning it on and off. So I really like the warmth that it adds. It's beautiful. And you can preview, again, the whole image. And I think this template really makes it sing.